Editing hacks and secrets, let's get into it. We're going for that cool girl, effortless, subtle look. I have been doing photography for 10 years. I used to very heavily edit my photos. My thing was like this very warm, orangey preset. It was the vibe of the time, okay? I do much more subtle editing now to the point where sometimes I feel like my photos don't even look edited. But that's the magic. The first step to making your photos look good is to take a good photo in the first place. Editing can only help so much if the lighting or the angle isn't right already. You can go to my previous video where I gave some photo tips in that way. I use the Teza app for everything. I think it's the best photo editing app. My top two filters that I use, number one is Cocoa. I use that one pretty much on every photo. And the trick is that I turn the intensity of the filters down every time. Like I will never leave it fully at 100 because I feel like when you turn it down a little, that's what gives you that more subtle look while still, you know, giving the photo a little something. The other filter that is my favorite is Butter. I've more recently started using this one. It's really similar to Cocoa, honestly, just with a little bit more warmth, which I like. As we remember with the orange presets, I like warm photos. I feel like a secret weapon that's underrated is the HSL tool. So this is within Teza. It's HSL stands for hue, saturation, luminance. For example, the way that I use this the most is I will tweak orange luminance. As we can see, I am doing pale girl exposure therapy currently. And I am not a tan person, but I feel like the orange luminance, when I bring it down, I can always make myself look a little more tan, which I like personally. Another example of how I would use the HSL tool is I would go to that tool, click on the blue, and if I had a photo of the sky and I wanted the blue to look more like rich or darker, I would bring down the luminance of the blue and maybe bring up the saturation of the blue a little bit. So what you're doing is basically you're specifically manipulating hue, saturation, and luminance, like the tones of that specific color. So it just allows you to have more control. When I'm changing the orange luminance of my skin, like I want my skin to look darker or warmer, but I don't want the whole photo to be warmer. The last thing that I do sometimes is I will add motion blur to a photo that I just feel like needs a little extra something. This is also something you can do on the Teza app under blur, and they have different types of blur you can add. So the motion one is fun. It just kind of like gives another element to a photo. If you're already moving, if you're like spinning in the photo, if your hair is flowing or you're wearing a dress, like adding the blur in there a little bit, I think gives it a little something fun. Lastly, if you look ugly in a photo, just put the photo booth filter on it, turn it into a photo strip. I genuinely think it makes any photo cute. Take down the orange luminance, babe, and add a black and white filter. It's all gonna be okay. These are my very simple tools that I feel like anyone can use. I think next, maybe we can talk about the art of an Instagram story, or I'm trying to think of other things. Leave them in the comments if you want to know like niche specific photo deep dive things we can go on, and I would love nothing more.